Hello everyone, welcome to Unit 3, Lesson 1. In this unit, we're going to be talking about the internet. Yes, so this is a brand new unit. Let's keep moving. Alright, we're going to be talking about the internet. Okay, so the objectives of this unit is I can answer the question, what is the internet? I can identify the different parts of the internet. I can explain how the parts work together to allow computers to share information over the internet. Right? Now, what is the internet? Pause and answer the question. What is the internet? Got it? Okay. What is the internet? The internet is a global network of computing devices communicating with each other in some way. Now, the internet is a way for computers to send information to each other. It's sort of like a postal service in computers, for computers. So if you've ever sent a letter in the mail, you kind of know how the postal service works. Okay, and so there are 5 major ingredients for the internet: wires and wireless, IP, TCP/IP, or TCP or UDP, TLS, HTTP, and DNS. So we'll look at all the 5 ingredients in this lesson. It's just kind of an introduction lesson, and we'll definitely break these down further in the units, in the lessons to come. Okay, so let's get into it. Alright, wires and wireless. There we go. That's the first ingredient of the internet. So, wires and wireless. Alright, wires and wireless. Physical connections. So what are wireless and wireless? Physical connections between devices. Plus the protocols for converting electromagnetic signals into binary data. You can think of this ingredient, so like if we're looking at the letter example, wires and wireless in the internet world is kind of like pen and paper in the letter example. So it's the raw materials that we get started with. Yeah, so like a pen and paper, but in the internet world we have wires and wireless. So like infrastructure, right? Yeah, infrastructure. All right, second component, we got IP. IP, right? So, yeah, IP. So, IP stands for Internet Protocol. Now, Internet Protocol is our second ingredient. So, it is a protocol. So, protocol is a way of doing things that is standard, that uniquely identifies devices using IP addresses, so Internet Protocol addresses, and provides a routing strategy to get packets or letters from destination to destination between IP addresses. You can think of this as the letter part, like of our mail service, right? So remember the last one, wires and wireless. This one's IP. Wires and wireless are like the pens and papers. IP is sort of like the letter. Yes. Next, we have TCP or UDP, and you only need one of these depending on the connection. But we're going to talk about these in a future lesson. TCP or UDP. So TCP or UDP, yeah, there we go. TCP or UDP. So TCP stands for Transmission Control Protocol. UDP stands for User Datagram Protocol. Protocols that can transport packets of data from one device to another and check for errors along the way. So in the postal service, you can think of these as mail trucks or UPS trucks, right? Of internet, right? And they are different, and we'll talk about the differences between UDP and UDP and TCP in a coming lesson. But you need some way of getting the letter, or getting the letter to its place, which is TCP or UDP. All right, TLS. TLS. What does TLS stand for? Here we go. TLS stands for Transport Layer Security. And so TLS is a secure protocol for sending encrypted data so that attackers cannot view private information. Think of this as like the envelope, like you put a letter in an envelope when you send it in the mail. Think of TLS as an envelope that keeps your letters safe. Right? HTTP and DNS. Now, HTTP and DNS, yes, HTTP and DNS. DNS stands for Domain Name Server, and HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. The protocols that power the World Wide Web, right? So what the browser uses every time you kind of load a web page. You can think of this as the format you write your letter in. So, like in school, you learned how to format a letter properly when you're writing it. You can think of HTTP and DNS as that format in the internet world, right? Like a formatted letter. And so, quick review, we have wires and wireless. Wires and wireless. So they are pen and paper. Let's go over this. They are like pen and paper in this internet world, right? So we need, like, they're the raw materials that help us write our message through. IP, that is, IP is, like, think of it as the address on your letter. That's very important. The address that's on your letter, because it tells us where to send the letter. TCP. TCP is, you can think of TCP as like the mail truck. Actually, you can think of TCP as like the UPS truck, and we'll go into that later. But TCP and UDP are ways of getting the letter through the internet, or getting your message through the internet. And then TLS you can think of as the envelope that keeps your letter safe. It's the transport layer security. There's a lot of math involved, and we'll also look at this in future lessons as well. It's kind of just an intro lesson. And then HTTP and DNS are the way we format letters in the internet so that everybody can understand like what we're sending and receiving. That was pretty much it for this lesson. Here are, what are the 5 major ingredients of the internet, or what are the 5 parts of the internet? What is the internet? So what is the internet? What is the part that protects your message? And here are some parts to remember. So feel free to pause and answer the questions, and then I'm gonna go over the answers. Ready? There we go. Answers are, so what is the internet? Well, the internet is a series of interconnected computers communicating with each other. What are the 5 parts of the internet? Well, they are wires and wireless, IP, TCP and UDP, TLS, HTTP and DNS. And we'll look at these layers here. We'll look at all these components in separate lessons in this unit. And then what is the part that protects your message? Well, that's transport layer security, or TLS. Thank you all for attending my lesson. Hope you all had a great time. And like, comment, subscribe. Bye, guys.